Here are 10 things you should never try at night. Watch to the end to know them, so that you can avoid the mistake of doing them, because some people who did it ran mad, others can't sleep well, and some died from it. Don't try the 8th and the 9th one, because you will regret it for the rest of your life. 1. Don't sleep with mirrors facing each other. Here is why I did so. In 2001, one couple had mirrors facing each other in their bedroom, a design they thought was modern and cool. But they soon realized their mistake. One night, the wife woke up in the middle of the night to find her reflection still staring back at her in the mirror, even though she had turned her back to it. It was moving, smiling. When she wasn't, she jumped out of bed and ran to the mirror. But as soon as she touched it, the reflection turned into a twisted version of herself, reaching out through the glass. She screamed, but her husband never heard. In the morning, she was gone. The mirrors, still facing each other, were untouched. They say when mirrors face each other, they open a door to something that isn't human. 2. Always lock your doors and windows. Here is why. In 1995, a woman was all alone in her small house one evening. She was tired and forgot to lock her doors, thinking she was safe. As she got into bed, she heard the creaking of floorboards downstairs. At first, she thought it was just the house settling, but then the sound got louder. The door to her bedroom slowly creaked open, and a cold breeze rushed in. She heard footsteps approaching her bed. She turned on the light, but no one was there. She quickly checked the doors and windows. They were all unlocked. The next night, she locked everything and went to bed early. But in the middle of the night, she woke to find a figure standing at the foot of her bed. It was her, but not her. A twisted version of her, with empty eyes, staring straight at her. She screamed, but no one ever heard. The doors had never been locked at all. 3. Don't sleep with the lights on. Here is why. In 2008, a man, alone in his apartment, had always been afraid of the dark. Every night, he would sleep with the lights on, just to feel safe. But one night, after he turned off the lights to go to bed, he started to hear whispers. The room felt colder, and shadows seemed to move around him. He opened his eyes and saw shapes in the corners of the room. His heart raced as the shadows grew larger and closer. He turned on the lights, but when the room lit up, nothing was there. He turned them off again. The whispers started louder, and the shadows were standing over him. They were real, and they weren't going away. He didn't wake up the next morning. They say, when you sleep with the lights on, the darkness gets angry, and the shadows will come for you. 4. Don't keep your phone on the pillow. A girl was texting late at night, laughing at funny memes with her friends, when she felt something shift in the room. Her phone vibrated once, then twice, but she didn't think much of it. Suddenly, her phone lit up with a strange message. It said, "I'm in the room with you." She thought it was just one of her friends playing a joke, so she set the phone on her pillow and went to sleep. In the middle of the night, she woke up to the sound of her phone vibrating again. But this time, it wasn't a message, it was a call. When she picked up, all she could hear was heavy breathing. She turned on her phone's camera to see who was calling, but the reflection on the screen showed a dark figure standing behind her, staring directly at her. She didn't make it till morning. They say when you keep your phone too close, you invite the one thing that's watching you from the other side. 5. Don't watch scary movies before bed. You might think it's not harmful. Here is why you should stop. A boy watched a scary movie late one night. It was about a ghost who haunted the living and whispered in their ears. After the movie, he tried to sleep, but the whispers wouldn't leave him. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard silent voices in his head calling his name. He opened his eyes and saw no one, but the whispers grew louder, closer. Soon he could feel someone's hot breath on the back of his neck. He turned around, but no one was there. He tried to scream, but he could not shout. The voice calling his name silently didn't stop until the sun came up, and by then he was gone. They say ghosts follow you when you watch the wrong movie, and they don't stop until they have you. So please avoid it. Tell me the name of the horror movie you watch most at night. Don't drink coffee or tea late at night. This sounds crazy. Here is why. One young man loved his nightly cup of coffee. But one night, after drinking a strong cup of coffee, he lay down to sleep. But sleep wouldn't come. He felt restless. Suddenly, he heard a tapping on his window. It was soft at first, then louder and faster. He covered his head with blanket in fear, but the tapping didn't stop. It felt like someone was right outside, watching him. When he finally dared to look out the window, no one was there. But he couldn't shake the feeling that something had been waiting for him. The next morning, people said he was found in his bed, eyes wide open, staring at the window like he had gone mad overnight. They say when you drink tea or coffee late at night, you invite what's out there to come closer. 7. Don't ignore strange noises in the house, especially if you just moved in. In Morocco in 2000, man had just moved into a big old house. At first, everything seemed normal, but then, late at night, he began to hear knocking. It came from the walls, the ceiling, even under the floorboards. He ignored it, thinking it was just the house settling. But night after night, the knocking got louder, faster, and more frantic. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore. He went into the basement and found a small, hidden door. He opened it, and the knocking stopped. But inside the room was a mirror. He saw his own reflection, but it didn't move like him. The reflection stared at him. He ran upstairs in fear, but the knocking followed him, louder and faster. The next morning, he was gone. No one ever found him. They say, when you hear strange noises at night, don't ignore them, because what's making those noises might be coming for you. Was this helpful? Drop your comment. 8. Don't look in the mirror at midnight. A young girl had always heard the stories about mirrors at midnight. She thought they were just stupid and old belief. One night, she decided to test it. She stood in front of her bathroom mirror at 12 a.m., staring at her reflection. But something wasn't right. Her reflection smiled when she didn't. Her reflection raised its hand and waved, but she didn't move. In a panic, she turned around, but when she looked back, her reflection was no longer there. She ran out of the room, but the reflection followed her, mocking her every move. She never made it back to bed. They say if you look in the mirror at midnight, something will look back, and it won't be you. Please avoid it. Do you believe this? Let me know in the comments section. 9. Don't go to bed without saying a prayer. When woman lived alone in a small house on the outskirts of town, she had always said a prayer before bed, but one night she was too tired. She lay down, closed her eyes, and went off to sleep. In the middle of the night, she woke up feeling cold. When she opened her eyes, a shadow stood at the foot of her bed, staring down at her. It whispered her name softly, as if it had always known her. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. The shadow reached out, and she couldn't move. The next morning, she was gone. They say when you forget to pray, you leave the door open for things to slip in, and once they do, they never leave. 10. Keep your feet on the bed while sleeping. One night, a boy named Jake was so tired after a long day of playing, he threw himself on the bed, not bothering to pull his feet under the blanket. He loved to stretch out, letting his feet hang off the edge. But as he fell asleep, he felt something cold touch his feet. He woke up immediately, thinking it was just the cold air, but the feeling didn't stop. Something was romancing his feet, pulling him closer to the edge of the bed. He screamed and scrambled back, but when the light came on, there was nothing there. He looked under the bed, but there was nothing. The next night, he made the same mistake, and this time, as he lay there, he heard something whisper his name. Something with long, bony fingers reached out and dragged him under. Jake never woke up again. They say if you leave your feet hanging off the bed, something from the dark will reach up and take you. Which one have you been doing unknowingly? Like this video if you enjoyed it. And remember to follow the channel, because you might not see us again, and you might do something that will cost your life unknowingly. So follow to know things to avoid